Okay. Shalom, everyone. We'll talk today more about Tikkun, about praying at Netz, praying at sunrise. So, as we mentioned, the most praiseworthy time to recite the Shema and to pray the Amidah is as the devoted ones prayed at Vatikin. There's actually an opinion in one of the Mefarshim. What is this? There's actually an opinion among the Mefarshim that um, the Vatikin means the people, which is a title that was given to the people um, instead of the actual prayer. This can't be happening. Okay, so this idea about awakening to the nature and pulsate in full force. Um, Rabbi Boston used to give a class about different herbs that he grew in his garden, and he said that the three main ingredients are sun, earth, and water. So how does nature know how to give different smells to these herbs? They assumably get exactly the same nourishment, and it's very applicable for our life, which is basically that when we learn that Hashem gave us a unique soul, and that even though we look and act as many other people, there's something very unique about ourselves, and we associate that awakening, that understanding, with light. So Hashem's light is what really gives all these things that capability, and we have to see the Ashgacha of Hashem. It's hard to see when grass and trees grow everywhere, and we seem to take it for granted. But really, the idea of getting up in the morning, when we have the recognition of this light, of seeing things, that will move us to pray much better. And what better time to do it than to do it right when the sun rises? So then we can concentrate on the prayers of the Amidah, which are three blessings of adoration of Hashem, then 13 blessings that are requests, and they're not always our own requests, they're requests for the whole nation. That's why we say them in plural. And then we conclude with three blessings of thanksgiving. So all of this is related to the awakening. And of course, the Amidah is repeated another 2 times of the day, but to start our morning off with this gratitude and with this recognition is so much more important. One last thing about this poetry is that Adam and Eve had what's called Ora Ganuz, the light that was hidden after they were sent out of the Garden of Eden for 36 hours. Um, and one of the Hasidic rabbis wrote that that's why we should light 36 candles on Friday night, for each one corresponding to an hour. Again, this was a light that is not the light of the sun or any other celestial body, and so we don't really know what it was like, but we are learning more and more about the Shekhinah. We're going to finish the book of Shmot this week with that very idea that we feel the presence of God, and that's how our day should start. And it's hard to do it every single day, but with this recognition, with this understanding, once in a while we can see how much we are grateful for how Hashem runs the world. Um, so I'm concluding in the middle of line 5. Only then does he accept upon himself the yoke of heaven and is inspired to pray. However, those who pray Vatikin begin early and lead nature, even before the sun shines and nature reveals itself in all its beauty and splendor. They accept upon themselves the yoke of heaven with complete faith. As soon as the sun arises and the day begins, they are already standing in prayer, ushering in an abundance of blessings and gratitude for this world that Hashem created in such wisdom. Even the blessings of Baruch Shamar talk about that, and the blessing of Asher Etzar even more so talks about the miracles that happen in our body, which we talked about last week. And so the Chachamim, the sages, say that anyone who connects redemption to prayer, which is Sumech Geulah Tfilah, so meaning ending Birkot Kriyat Shema, whether in the morning or the night, where we end with the words Ga'al Yisrael, by praying Vatikin, is not harmed the whole day. And that promise obviously is something that is very, very powerful. And they wouldn't have said it if they didn't see it with their own two eyes. However, if getting up to pray Vatikin will cause a person to be tired and unable to learn or work properly, it is better that he pray afterwards. We are now learning the Masechet of Bava Metzia in Daf Yomi, and there's rules that are already written in Brachot about a worker being on a tree, picking fruit and saying the Shema. For saying the Shema, it's okay because you don't have to concentrate and be still. But for the Amida, the rabbis actually said you have to get down from the tree because you are not able to concentrate if you're on a branch. And the other thing is, if you were so late waking up and now you're already working, then you might be stealing time from your boss, and that's also not appropriate. We don't want a person to compromise their relationship with their employer because we are not allowed to steal even time, and time is the only commodity that we can never return to somebody. Even if I say, I'll work extra hours to make up for that specific time that you were praying can never be returned properly. So today, when people's lifestyle has changed and important activities such as Torah classes and weddings take place at night, most people find it better not to wake up so early and to pray after the time of Vatikin. So this is very practical advice. Jewish weddings, the last one that we were at, we left at 11 p.m. and that was after the meal, and we already were towards the end of the second dance, but we heard afterwards that there was pictures and all kinds of fun stuff until 2 o'clock in the morning. If you are going to be at a wedding until 2 o'clock in the morning, then it is very hard to wake up properly and to concentrate on the prayer, especially if you've been drinking, like Rabbi Herzfeld mentioned yesterday. And so all these things have to be taken into consideration when you want to join such a minyan. One last thing, Rav Gidon Binyamin, who's the Rosh Kollel in Shalvim, my alma mater, actually went up the ladder of the water, what do they call it, water tower, every single day for a whole year, and wrote down the time that the sun rose, and that's the luach that they use until today, for those who want to pray Vatikin. And as far as I know, he's still part of that minyan, and they don't daven in the main sanctuary because there aren't usually more than like 20 people doing it, but every single day, including Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Shabbat, they do it like that, and it's based on his observation, and because every single place is different from, because of the geographical latitude or even the height of the mountain. And I'll stop the recording and then I'll tell a very funny situation.